So Donald Trump is defending his abandonment of the Kurds, which we've been following this week, by pointing out that, hey, the Kurds didn't help us during World War II. Where were they? This actually may be one of Donald Trump's dumbest comments so far. But remember that Trump said he was not abandoning the Kurds, that if Turkey does things to the Kurds that he doesn't like, he will obliterate their economy. And yet here he is just a day after, of course, Turkey immediately started bombing Kurdish forces, saying, here's why it's okay for us to abandon the Kurds. Let's sort of work through it backwards. Here's Donald Trump's comment during a truly bizarre press conference yesterday.
Now, the Kurds are fighting for their land, just so you understand. They're fighting for their land. And as somebody wrote in a very, very powerful article today, they didn't help us in the Second World War. They didn't help us with Normandy, as an example. They mentioned names of different battles. They were there, but they're there to help us with their land, and that's a different thing. In addition to that, we have spent tremendous amounts of money on helping the Kurds in terms of ammunition, in terms of weapons, in terms of money, in terms of pay. With all of that being said, we like the Kurds.
I'm glad that all that being said, we still like them. It's nice for him to mention we still like the Kurds. But I'll go further. The Kurds didn't help us in the Revolutionary War. The Kurds didn't jump in and help the Union during the Civil War. Where have these people been? This is bizarro world, ladies and gentlemen. Now, what is important to understand here is that Trump is now defending his abandonment of the Kurds because as soon as he did it, exactly as we predicted, Turkey bombed Kurdish forces in northern Syria. But just 2 days ago, Trump said nothing better happened to the Kurds or he's going to obliterate Turkey's economy. Trump tweeting just a couple of days ago, as I have stated strongly before, and just to reiterate, if Turkey does anything that I, in my great and unmatched wisdom, imagine that, consider to be off limits, I will totally destroy and obliterate the economy of Turkey. I've done before. So what were the parameters of that? Because saying the hell with the Kurds, they didn't help us in World War II, is not exactly what you say before swooping into their defense as you promised you would just 2 days ago. Maybe just as hilariously, by the way, Trump was asked, so this is an alliance you've ruined now. Isn't it going to make it difficult to make other alliances in the future since you've abandoned the Kurds? And Trump says, nah, alliances are easy.
The Kurds helped the U.S. defeat ISIS. And by allowing this offensive, is it going to be more difficult in future times of need to develop alliances?
No, it won't be. It won't be at all. Alliances are very easy. But, you know, our alliances have taken advantage of us. If you look at how much money we spend on NATO and how much money countries from Europe, who are really a much bigger beneficiary than we are, okay, you know, they're there and we're here.
Oh, good. Okay, alliances are easy, so that's not going to be a problem. You bail on the Iran nuclear deal without Iran having done anything in violation of that deal, but somehow it's going to be no problem getting people to trust us in the future. You bail on the Kurds and they immediately get attacked, but it's going to keep being easy to make new alliances because alliances are easy. I'm glad it's all going so well and that everything is so easy, right? I mean, how backwards are things when the guy who got a bogus bone spurs letter to avoid Vietnam is criticizing people who helped us fight ISIS for not helping us in World War II, however many years ago it's now been since that war. There is one upside to this entire turning on the Kurds thing that I can point to. It may actually do more damage to Trump with Republican lawmakers than with anybody else. Republican voters, okay. I mean, many Republican voters don't know much about the Kurds at all. And many of Trump's followers, the voters themselves, are going to just defend anything that Donald Trump does no matter what. Democratic lawmakers, Democratic voters, they're already anti-Trump because of the thousands of other things that Donald Trump has already done. But Republican lawmakers, I'm talking about people like, you know, loony Lindsey Graham or Moscow Mitch McConnell and others, they actually may be angry enough with Donald Trump about his abandoning a group that has been solidly working in conjunction with us for our national security for many, many years, that he may suffer some political consequences. But even the opposition to what Donald Trump is doing with the Kurds here from people like Looney Lindsay and Moscow Mitch may be merely posturing in order to set themselves up to be more credible when it comes to saying impeaching Trump. No, that's not something we have to do. Subpoenas and making sure that Donald Trump actually responds to the subpoenas. Nah, because the entire impeachment thing is a witch hunt anyway. There's the possibility that the opposition to Trump from Republican circles on the Kurdish issue may be a calculated cover to obtain more credibility when they defend against Donald Trump's impeachment. That's exactly what I want to talk about next.